Hi, I'm Lewis and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to be interviewing Koda Foster, who is the head trader at IntroFX, and we're going to be talking about Forex and how it's a genuine investment strategy to build your wealth over the long term. So let's get right into the interview with Koda Foster.
Welcome back to my channel. Today I've got Koda Foster here. Thanks for coming on, Koda.
No, thanks for having me.
So Koda is head trader at IntroFX, and you own a marketing agency, don't you? KF Media.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah, right.
why don't you go tell me a bit about yourself, and your background and stuff.
Okay. So I've worked for IntroFX. It'll literally be a year on the 31st. So depending on when this video goes up, I don't know, but it's obviously we're only like 10 days away from the 31st. So yeah, I've been there for a year. I did go to college when I was like 17 years old, and I've got the cliche story of drops out of college, as funny as it sounds, but it just wasn't really for me. And then I had, I don't know, a bit of a tricky relationship with parents, like explaining why I wasn't like learning, why I wasn't going to college or whatever. And then, yeah, I was like in and out of different jobs, to be honest. My CV is probably about this long because I could never stay in a job for longer than 2 weeks. So I just lost interest. But yeah, then obviously I kept on learning. My main like strategy that I was learning was how to trade on the daily time frame, purely because it took the least amount of time, because obviously the daily candle opens at 10 o'clock at night. So if I was at work the next day, it didn't really make a difference. And then how I stumbled upon IntroFX was quite an interesting one, because I was actually working at a call center in Hull. And a lass in my training group was like, oh, I know someone who does Forex. And like in my head, I've got all these Forex scammers bouncing about my head. I was like, right, no, definitely not.
Yeah.
And then I stumbled across IntroFX. So I messaged the directors and I was like, oh, do you mind if I pop in? Because they were advertising a salesperson job. So I thought, right, what I'll do is I'll pretend I'm off there for a sales job and then I'll just pull out my charts. So anyway, yeah, luckily they were literally just around the corner on Bond Street in Hull. So I literally went round, went and he started asking me sales questions. I was like, oh, before we start, let me just show you this. And then brought on my charts, and he was stood looking at them for about 10 minutes. He was like, all right, well, do you want to leave your job and start like in a week's time? I was like, yeah, should I go for it then?
That's insane, mate. Yeah, no, that's class. Like, one reason I heard of IntroFX is because, so I'm an accountant by trade. I used to work for a firm in Hull, down George Street, called Streets. Street Chart Accountants. Used to work there for 2.5 years.
You worked at George Street?
Down George Street, yeah, that's where the office was.
You'll know where I worked then. I worked at Rescue, literally opposite the comedy club.
But one of our clients.
No way, has it?
Yeah. Good, small world, isn't it? Yeah. But no, yeah, I'm an accountant by trade anyway. Yeah, so, yeah, I know. Like I said, I used to work in Hull, so that's how I heard about you guys. So, no, that's really interesting. I mean, so how do you want to get into that, how you started trading? You mentioned that when you were 17, 18, yeah, got into it. Do you want to go into that a bit more? Like, what?
Yeah. So initially the first ever, like, well, to be honest, it started from when I was like 7 years old, to be honest, because my dad used to play about the Forex charts on the 15-minute time frame. And at the time, like I grew, I don't know, 8, 9 years old. And I used to think to myself, like, what, like, I couldn't think of anything else more boring. So I never took an interest in it at that age. And now looking back, because I didn't actually start learning again until I was like 16, 17. If I started learning when I was like 8 years old and gained an interest, which is quite like, I don't know, quite an unreal reality to imagine. But like, I'd love to know like what my skills would be like now. But no, it was just after I finished college, I was looking at ways to make money online. So obviously I got the usual come up, drop shipping, FBA, blah, blah, blah. And I found binary options. Do you know what binary options are?
I've heard of them. I don't know a lot about them.
So in Forex, obviously, you buy at, say, 1.0, and then you leave the trade on until it hits 1.1, take it out. On binary options, you're betting the price will stay above 1.0 for a certain amount of time. So I used to trade on 15 seconds, I think it was.
Right, okay.
So I'd place a buy order here, and then you'd see price literally go up. And if it stayed up there, you won the trade. If it dropped below, you lost all the money that you put on it.
Right, so it's a binary as in yes or no, win or lose.
Yeah, effectively that was gambling. Like binary options is gambling. It's now banned actually. You have to have a license to do binary options now. But then, oh, sorry, I've got like a hair in my eye.
That's all right.
But then I moved on to learning how to trade Forex. And I was playing around with indicators, like moving averages, RSI, MACD. And then I finally sort of figured out that indicators lag a little bit. And I sort of fell into that. Like secret, I suppose you could call it. And then I started researching price action. And then, yeah, it sort of stemmed from there, to be honest. I've been building up my own sort of ways to trade because I don't believe that like one way works for everyone, because like Jack in the office trades a certain way, and most of the time we have conflicting arguments, but sometimes he wins and sometimes I win. And obviously with a decent risk reward, we both end up profitable, but like I couldn't trade how he does, if you get me.
Yeah, so you're like, there's different ways of getting from A to B. It's the process, not, you don't have to do exactly the same thing. You can do it differently.
Yeah.
But you're getting from one place to the next, which is no, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so I mean, I think one thing I wanted to look into, because I'm a long-term investor. So when I'm when I'm going to invest in a property or stocks, I'm using fundamental analysis, whereas you guys are using technical analysis. So what I wanted to get into was Forex as like a long-term strategy. So like, say if you started with $1,000 in your trading account, how I want to talk about like compounding that over, say, I don't know, a 5-year period. Is that something you're like looking to do, like compound your trading account as like your?
I mean, sort of. Mine's slightly a little bit more aggressive than that. So starting with £1,000, like if I was giving advice to someone, obviously I always say that you risk 2% of your balance per trade, and you want to be trading with 4R, which basically means you're standing to gain 4 times what you're standing to lose. Obviously that means you're only going to have to win 50% of your trades to remain profitable. If you're using 3R, you only have to win 1 out of 3 trades. And if you win 1 out of 4 trades, you break even. But the way I see it is just, I don't know, the way that you should see Forex is once you can take out your bill money and still have enough in there to compound and get in, then that's fine. Because like if I earn off £1,000 account, say 600 quid, that's not going to cover my bills. So I'm not taking anything out. I'll just compound it. And then eventually I'll get to the point where I've earned £3,000. I can take out 1,500 for my outgoings, for example, and still have 1,500 in there as well. So yeah, I believe don't take anything out to spend it on anything, because there's nothing that you can buy with that money that's more important than the buying power that you have.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Like, so if someone was, say, you know, they had a full-time job and they wanted to do this, say they're working at home, or they are, you know, they're looking to Forex and they're like, right, okay, I can now do this. You would say, get that account compounding, get that working for you as much as you can. That's what you'd say, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no, interesting. Like I said, I know a couple of people that do it and have success, and like I've seen your guys' success as well. It's cool to see, especially, you know, I'm 22. I don't. How old are you, Koda?
21.
21. So like, you know, it's mad. Like it's mad doing it at this age. I think it's pretty cool. So,
yeah,
like,
it is. I think I was going to say that's something that I think is where all the stigma comes from, because like most people, like I think the reason that I opened my YouTube account, which I mentioned to you before, I was going to go into, is sort of to show the realistic side of what we do, because like you see all of them on Instagram with like rented Lambos in Dubai, for example, but that's not the reality of it. Unless you're starting with 100 grand in your balance and you're making like 20% a month consistently, you're not going to be doing things like that straight away. So like, to me, I'm 21, like I have got a house and I've got a car, for example, and I can afford to do things that I like go shopping or pay for holidays, but I don't have enough money to just go splash like 100k on a Lamborghini, for example, or go buy a villa. Do you know what I mean? So there's like, I think I did it to show the actual journey, because for myself as well, I can go back in 5 years' time and look at those videos and actually see my personal growth, just to show people it doesn't all happen overnight, because it doesn't.
Yeah, no, that's true. Nothing happens overnight. So one thing I get asked about the stock market is, I'm not a trader, I'm a long-term. I get people, what's stock to this? You've got to do your research. It's a process. You've got to. It's not it's going to happen next day. You're going to make a load of money. It's all about the long term. I think it's about the long term process, really. And anyone who says otherwise, I don't know, they kill themselves a bit.
yeah, definitely. Too many people looking at the short term and not the long term.
Yeah, it's what I like about your channel. Like, you're showing what Forex is, just a different strategy of building wealth. That's just the way I see it.
Yeah.
That's what I like. What you guys are doing. You're showing, in all honesty. You're not showing. It's not like the Lambo. I think there's a lot of people who do show the Lambos and stuff, but no, it's nice to see what you guys. You know, you legitimate. You're doing some good stuff, and praise to you all. It's fantastic.
No, thank you.
So yeah, I mean, moving on. Do you want to talk about YouTube channel? You mentioned you want to talk about YouTube channel a bit.
Yeah. Well, obviously I started it last year, which is during coronavirus lockdown. So like there was never going to be anything really like interesting that happened on there. And to be honest, the most popular video, this just goes to show like what people do look for. Because like out of all my videos, if I was to choose one that I thought was the one that would get the most views, would be the team day out one that we went to a restaurant, or when we went out go-karting, because they're like, to me, interesting.
Yeah.
The video, they all got like 1,000 views. My video that was really boring, like all the way through, because it was literally just office stuff, but had the thumbnail of trading profits, got 15,000 views. And it's like, it's obvious that a lot of people are more interested in the money side of things than the lifestyle side of things. Because to me, like us going out go-karting during office hours is to show that trading is working for us. And like, we can just go off and do that, and it's not a normal job. But I suppose people do read into it a little bit too much about like, well, where's the money like actually being made or whatever. I don't really know a good way to explain it, to be honest, but it just shows like how views work sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Like I've already posted 2 videos, so I'm just gonna keep posting videos each week and see what happens. But no, it's interesting that the videos you think would have done well, you know,
didn't go as well as I thought.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. So what are your plans for YouTube then? I know obviously COVID's, you know, it's a bit rubbish at the moment.
Yeah.
But, you know, when we get out of COVID and a bit of normality, what plans have you got for that?
Well, obviously before I was only doing like day in the life, but that's obviously like I do want to do that mostly. That's the most interesting thing to me, doing day in the lives, because I think that provides the best insight. Obviously, with us being indoors all the time now, you can probably tell from the recording that I've now invested in a ring light.
Because
I thought it'd be so much better now that I've got light in to do actual just face-to-face talking. So I think I'm going to do more like educational stuff. Obviously, I gave away a free strategy for the first time ever, which I was quite on the fence about before. Aside from that, I'm trying to think. I mean, like you say, we're in lockdown at the moment, so everything's very restricted. It will turn more into a lifestyle / business channel eventually, obviously once restrictions are lighter.
No, decent, yeah. On to business. So you started your own marketing agency, KF Media. So do you want to go into that and how that came about?
So that one's more, to be honest, like I do enjoy the client side of Forex, because obviously I do love teaching people, and I think it probably comes from an attention thing. Like I do like the fact that people look to me to learn in the least like arsehole way possible. But yeah,
enjoy it.
But I do like the fact that I can teach people and I get benefit off that. But then I think the marketing agency sort of stemmed from like, I do enjoy the more businessy side, because as much as Forex is a business, it's not like going to meetings, signing a deal, and then providing like a service, for example. Is more independent based. Like even when clients come to us for Forex, they end up, you'll see in the group chats that we have, they'll be talking a lot when they're first learning, and then the more they learn, the more they start to do their own thing and not sort of comment, because it is an independent thing. You don't need anyone else. But yeah, with the marketing agency, I started learning how to create Facebook ads and learn about business development. And then because I've got call center experience, I just thought, right, I'm just going to pick up the phone and get my first client. And I actually rang the owner of the building that our office is in, and I signed him as my first client. I think it was on like the second day of calling. Wow, and then we went into another lockdown again. So
yeah, no, that's class, mate. Yeah, no, that's really good. So yeah, I'm guessing you're doing that alongside your IntroFX stuff. It's working together pretty well.
Yeah, it is, to be honest, because the calls I can get through in an hour, to be fair. So I aim to call like 10 to 20 clients each day. And then I work on my ads on the night time, and then everything else during the day is normally spent either on the charts or creating content. So I'm one of these people where if I'm not doing something, it really gets to me. So like on a night time, I'll be sat there thinking, shall I go on my Xbox? But then in the back of my head, I'm like, nah, just pick up your MacBook and do a bit more work.
No, that's great mentality, that, mate. Yeah, it'll get you far, 100%. So in terms of like IntroFX and KF Media, what services do you guys, so KF Media, what do you provide? And then IntroFX, what services do you provide? Do you want to go into that?
Yeah, so KF Media, we provide Facebook ads, And then in the business development sort of section of it, we can look at websites and decide what needs improving, what sort of systems need putting in place to make things flow a bit smoother. And then more on the advertising thing, we can like develop different types of ads. So there's like, if there are a client that sells something online, it can be like a conversion advert where people can click on the ad and purchase it straight away. From our real estate clients, a lot of it is lead forms and messenger ads. So people will click on the property, for example, register their interest, and it'll either take them through to the messenger, and then they can like message away and just say, I'm looking to book a viewing, or they can fill out a lead sheet. And then obviously the client can then call them and say, oh, we've just received your registration of interest or whatever. Aside from that, it's just coming up with all different sorts of campaigns, to be honest. Like if I look at someone's Facebook profile and there's no posts whatsoever, but they've got a decent amount of likes, then another service I might provide is organic posting. So like plan out what pictures we can get taken, what posts need putting up, when they need putting up, what call to actions they need, things like that. I only started this, I'm just looking at the date. What is it, January? I'm hazarding a guess. I think I started first looking at like my marketing agency in September.
Yeah.
So I am still pretty new to it, to be honest. I'd like to think I picked up quickly, but that's probably just my ego. And then, yeah, Forex, we share trades that we take on a daily basis, which obviously is branded by other companies as signals in quotation marks, which we don't use the name anymore because it obviously has such a bad stigma around it. But no, we basically, whenever we take a trade, we type it up, we take a screenshot of the trade we're taking and explain why we're taking it. So that instead of just seeing a lot of numbers come up on a screen, the client's saying, oh, well, he's actually entered because there's a trend line bounce and fib confluence, or he's broken previous structure and he's now retesting an EMA, for example.
Yeah.
So I suppose they're actually learning more from the text than they are from the actual price that we've entered.
Yeah, so when you're giving a trade out, if it's back up behind it and we've got all, they can ask you, send you a message if they want to as well, I guess, and be like, wow, what's going on? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool, mate.
And the education side is taking over a lot bigger now. So we've got 3 courses in development at the moment. We've got a beginner course which is going to be given to people when they join us, just so that it gives them the like fundamental knowledge that they need to trade. So it'll tell them all about terminology. I'm trying to think. It'll tell them. It's literally that basic stuff. It's hard to think. Literally like your basic stuff, like how to open TradingView, how to open an MT4 account, how to calculate lot size, what is risk reward, like how to draw a trend line, all the basics like that. Then we've got an advanced course, which is my strategy. So it's all based around level trading, and there isn't really much confluence that goes with it. It's more about the price action and how the candles are interacting around different zones. And then the last one that's coming out is the professional course, which is all going to be based on multi-time frame analysis using trend lines, Fibonacci, previous structure levels. And it's going to be mainly based on like initial breakouts and things like that.
So yeah, if anyone wants to get into Forex, and IntroFX is a fantastic company to get that beginner course and get someone who is who know what they're doing, but not just Lambos and Rolexes. Forex is a genuine investment strategy, and if you want to learn about it, I'll put Koda's details down below in the YouTube video. Just send them a message on Instagram or something. And yeah, I think that's fantastic. Like you've got your beginner course where someone, they can all terminology, they try and understand it, and then they can build on that going forward.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's class.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aye.
So
sorry.
I was going to say, I was going to say, do you want to ask anything else?
Yeah, no, just one more thing. What are your goals for the next 5 years? Can be anything. Just end it on that.
Goals for 5 years. I'm just trying to think. To be honest, I haven't had an interest in FTMO ever because I've always thought that personal account growth is better from your own funds. But I am going to take an FTMO account. I've decided I'm just going to do it as a challenge. See how that goes.
FTMO, that's the hedge fund account, in it, where you pass some challenges and you get a big capital balance and you trade on their behalf.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's prop trading. So it's proprietary trading. So you do pass a test and then a verification phase, and then they provide you with the funds, which is up to £100,000, I believe. Yeah. And then you take 70% of profits. But obviously the challenge is hard because you have to get a certain amount of account growth. You have to have a certain amount of trading days. So they are very strict that will catch you out if you're not on the ball with it.
Yeah. No, interesting. Yeah. Awesome.
Aside from that 5-year goal, hopefully my marketing agency will have scaled to 20 clients. Well, we're talking 5 years. That's actually quite far into the future, and I'm not really thinking about this right. I'm talking about like next year. Hopefully in 5 years' time, I won't be running a marketing agency. I'll have a director underneath me who takes care of that. And as far as the Forex thing goes, hopefully we've taken IntroFX to be like the biggest educator in the country. Just for context, 1 year ago when I started, it was just the 2 directors and me, and we've now got 9 full-time staff members in the office.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, buzzing. So I think we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for wanting to do this, Koda. Really appreciate it. And like I said,
really nice being on.
If you want to get in contact with Koda, I'll pop his details on both his YouTube channel and Instagram. And if you want to get into Forex or you want to use media, you can contact him. Thanks again, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So I hope you enjoyed my interview with Koda Foster. If you'd like to get in contact with him for any Forex or marketing services, then I will put his contact details in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it, getting my word out there, all things investing. So if you enjoyed the video, thank you very much, and I will see you next time.